Well, what kind of Jurassic Park movie would it be without a shot of somebody elbow deep in a pile of dinosaur poop? Hey everybody, welcome to Mainely Movies. As part of my Jurassic Park franchise review series, today I'm going to be talking about the 2001 sci-fi action film Jurassic Park III. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for a variety of movie-related content like reviews, rank lists, and trailer reactions. All my reviews include a breakdown of the pros and cons, my rating, and some tailored film recommendations, so be sure to watch through to the end of this video for all of that extra content. Jurassic Park III stars Sam Neill, William H. Macy, and Leoni, and was directed by Johnston. It tells the story of Dr. Alan Grant, played by Sam Neill, who after agreeing to give an aerial tour of Isla Sorna, finds that his dinosaur knowledge is put to slightly more practical use following a plane crash. When you really look at it, everything surrounding Jurassic Park 3 indicates that it should be a disappointing sequel. This was the first film in the franchise not to be directed by Steven Spielberg, the first one not directly based on a Michael Crichton novel. It's the shortest film in the series, by far. And of course, it came on the heels of the also disappointing The Lost World. Sure, these movies always did well at the box office, and Jurassic Park 3 was no exception, but very few people were clamoring for a third film in the franchise. Of the original trilogy, Jurassic Park 3 is the one I've watched the least number of times. In fact, before this most recent rewatch, it had been long enough since my last viewing that I only remembered stray moments, Leoni's seemingly constant screaming, and the fact that I didn't like the movie. After rewatching it, the constant screaming still holds true, but I was surprised to find that I liked this movie a whole lot more than I remembered. Now, obviously, Jurassic Park 3 doesn't come anywhere close to the original Jurassic Park, but there's actually a lot to like here. It's not exactly an original story, but it does do something a little different from either of its two predecessors. The story stems from some eye-rollingly stupid character decisions, but the rescue mission angle is refreshing. Its island-romping escape storyline is a little more unstructured than that of the original film, but it manages to maintain some of the entertaining charm and fun, two things that were largely lost in The Lost World. This third film steps away from the horror and back into the light a little bit, but still has its moments of thrilling intensity with a handful of memorable set pieces, the Pteranodon Aviary being my personal favorite. Much like The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3 sees the return of some familiar faces. Ian Malcolm is nowhere to be found, but we do get our favorite pair of paleontologists. Well, sort of. Laura Dern's Ellie Sattler is a little more than a glorified cameo here, but it was still nice to see her brief reappearance in the franchise. Sam Neill's Alan Grant, on the other hand, has a much more prominent role in the story. Unsurprisingly, he's older, less agile, a little more cynical and world-weary, but he still fills the protector role nicely here. And amazingly, he's still into dinosaurs. Even after everything that happened at Jurassic Park, he's still fascinated by velociraptors, and is once again in wondrous amazement when he finds living proof of some of his fossil-based hypotheses. The new characters here aren't particularly good or memorable, but they do their jobs as stand-ins for the other non-returning characters from the original movie. Paul and Amanda Kirby are an unusual pair of characters, who are certainly very annoying towards the beginning of the film, but improve as the story progresses. Dr. Grant's research assistant, Billy, has the opposite trajectory, beginning okay and devolving over the course of the film. And Eric? Well, at least he's probably the least annoying kid in the franchise. As entertaining as the film can be, there's no denying that this is a very frustrating entry in the franchise, largely due to its characters. Jurassic Park isn't exactly known for having characters with good judgment, but Jurassic Park 3 really is just a series of ridiculously stupid character decisions. After the events of the first two films, you'd think people would learn, but nope. I mean, I guess you'd expect the expendable characters to be dumb in a movie like this, but even our experts make some ridiculous decisions here. The idiocy of the story setup all but guarantees that things start off a bit rough, but the film does improve over the course of its runtime. It's the shortest installment in the franchise, by more than 30 minutes, but I think that actually works in its favor, by keeping the story moving at a brisk pace and never forcing us to spend too much dinosaur free time with any of its dumb characters. Okay, so what about the dinosaurs? They've always been one of the biggest draws in these films, and you definitely get to see a lot of them here. Not just a lot of different species, but a lot of the dinosaurs themselves. There are still some night scenes, but overall, this is a much more brightly lit movie than The Lost World. We get some old favorites like the T-Rex, the Compies, and some redesigned velociraptors, but we also get a few new dinosaurs too, most notably the Spinosaurus and the Pteranodons. All of the Jurassic Park movies have used a mixture of practical and CG effects, and that's true of this film too. But this is the least impressive of the bunch from an effects standpoint. The frequent CG isn't awful looking, but it's kinda got an early 2000s video game quality to it. The practical effects also aren't quite as prominent as usual, but they're still great to see, especially the baby pteranodons. Alright, let's talk about the pros and cons. The biggest pro has gotta be the returning characters. This was something that was fun in The Lost World too, but the returns just make a lot more sense here within the context of the story. Ellie Sattler's return is disappointingly brief, and barely more than a cameo, but it was still nice to see her and Alan interact a little bit. But obviously, the primary returning character here was Alan Grant. Personality-wise, he's still very similar to what we remember from the first film, and he also fills a very familiar role in this story, essentially using his dinosaur knowledge to help get a bunch of helpless people off of a dinosaur-covered island. The second pro is the tone. This is a much more minor pro, but I appreciated the adventure thriller approach that this film took. In that regard, it's much more similar to the first film than it is to The Lost World, which I think is a very good thing. It doesn't ever quite capture that feeling of wonder that Jurassic Park had, but it does bring back the frequently thrilling, uncertainty-filled adventurous fun that made the original such an enjoyable experience. On the con side, the biggest issue has gotta be the dumb character decisions. This is certainly not an uncommon thing within the franchise, but it's taken to some ridiculous levels here. 'Cause this is a sequel, right? I mean, it's not like the events of the previous two films took place in some parallel universe or something. These characters make reference to those events, so they're clearly aware of them, and yet they still put themselves in ridiculous situations because of their horrible decisions. And it's not just the kids or regular civilians making stupid choices. Our main scientist characters make some of the dumbest decisions in the whole movie. It's a bit frustrating, and honestly, you don't even really feel that bad because they brought the situations upon themselves. Before I give you my rating and recommendations, I want to remind you that if you're interested in buying Jurassic Park 3 or any of the other films I mentioned today, I do have affiliate links for all of them in the description below. I get a small commission from anything you buy using one of my links, so I'd really appreciate it if you use them if you're in the market for any of these movies. I'm gonna give Jurassic Park 3 3 out of 5 paws. It's a fairly low 3, but still a 3, which I was not expecting. The last time I had watched this movie years ago, I had rated it at 2 paws, so this was a significant improvement for me. The story's a bit silly and plagued by dumb character decisions, but it's an entertaining and briskly paced dinosaur adventure enhanced by a few familiar faces. I would recommend Jurassic Park 3 to fans of the original Jurassic Park. This third installment is nowhere close to the quality of that first film, but if The Lost World was a little too dark and dull for your tastes, this might satiate your dinosaur sequel cravings. If you liked Jurassic Park 3, I would recommend Jurassic Park. An obvious suggestion perhaps, but a fitting one in many ways. It's obviously the film that kicked off the franchise and introduced us to Sam Neill's Dr. Alan Grant, but these two films also share in their fun, adventurous quality and their velociraptor centrism. If you just can't get enough of Jurassic Park characters making dumb decisions, you might want to check out Jurassic World, which centers around the opening of another dinosaur theme park despite the events of the first 3 films. And if you're interested in another jungle escape, you should check out Kong Skull Island. It's the 3rd film in Legendary's Monsterverse, and it also focuses on a group of characters crash landing on an island full of huge prehistoric creatures. Alright, a couple questions for you guys. Number 1, have you seen Jurassic Park 3? If so, what'd you think of it? And number 2, what's your favorite movie about a rescue mission? Be sure to leave your answers in the comments below so we can get a discussion going. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment, insight, or information out of this review, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe while you're at it to see more videos like this. Till next time, this has been Alyssa with Mainly Movies, the way life should be.